Glad to be back again with a quick devotional. If you've got your Bibles, I want you to go ahead and open them up to Matthew 8. We're going to take a look at two stories that are laid side by side for a specific reason. And I think that we'll all be able to connect with this on some kind of level. So go to Matthew 8. Here you'll see verse 1 through 4. We have the account of Jesus who heals a man with leprosy. Right? So this man, we know that leprosy is just this rotting of the flesh. We know that culturally the lepers were kept in their own colonies. We know that they also were forced to wear instruments on their body that would notify others that they were approaching so that they could get away from the person who was considered ceremonially unclean. So this whole culture was set up in such a way to divide and separate the lepers from the rest of the clean individuals within the community. I heard Max Lucado tell the story once, and he filled in the backstory of the leper. Imagine being a man who owns his own fields, has his own family, takes care of his own, does all of these things in his own strength and his own might, right? Just a normal functioning guy living day to day. And one day he plunges his hand into the basin to wash his hands, and he sees that the water is blood-tinged. He pulls his hands out and realizes that he's nicked his hand and never even felt it. So now he realizes he's slowly beginning to deteriorate. One of the indications of leprosy is this painlessness that you get when you injure yourself. So this man has to give up his home. He has to give up his family. He has to go live with other individuals in areas that stink, where human pieces and body parts are beginning to fall off. Fingers and toes and noses and appendages are beginning to rot off the human body. And one day he hears that there's a man traveling through his city, traveling through the area that he's going to be in. And he realizes that this is the only chance he's ever going to get healing, to receive some kind of healing from a man. He finds out that this man, this teacher, Jesus, is traveling town to town, and he's healing individuals. Now, he's still got his bell on. He still has to navigate through the crowds. He still has to find a way to get to this rabbi, to this teacher. Now, in his mind, he's thinking of his family. He's thinking about healing. He's dealt with years upon years upon years of ridicule, years upon years of isolation as his flesh has begun to deteriorate and rot. And we'll pick it up here in verse 1. Chapter 8, verse 1, Matthew. Large crowds followed Jesus as he came down the mountainside. Suddenly, a man with leprosy approached him and knelt before him. "Lord," the man said, "if you are willing, you can heal me and make me clean." Okay, let's stop real quick. Okay, so take a look at it here. It says large crowds, right? So there's huge procession with Jesus as he comes down. And it says, suddenly a man. So instantly, in a moment, just out of the blue, this man appears in front of Jesus. So that indicates to us that this man was lying in wait. He was hiding. He was hiding from the people, hiding from the masses. He was trying to be clandestine. He was trying to sneak in to see this teacher, right? Suddenly, the man with leprosy approached him and knelt before him. So he knelt down in front of Jesus. He prostrated before him and he said, "Lord, if you are willing, you can heal me, 1, and 2, make me clean." So Jesus sees this man who has never been touched since his disease. No one has moved towards him. When they saw the leper coming, they yelled unclean and crossed the street. They announced it to everyone. So all physical affection is totally removed from this man's life. Now he throws himself in front of this man, this teacher, this healer that's coming through the land. And he says, "If you are willing, Lord, you can heal me." And this is the amazing part. And this is how awesome our God is. Jesus reached out and he touched him. He touched him and he said, "I am willing, be healed." And instantly the leprosy disappeared. I'm going to stop right there, okay? So there's just a couple of verses there, 1 through 3. 1 through 3, it says that he reached out and he touched the man. Imagine, this is the very first time in possibly years that this man has ever been touched. He's ever been touched by another human being. I mean, this is the last ditch effort. This is it. Like, I've just thrown myself in front of this teacher. He could scream at me and say unclean and shun me even more. Maybe this was his last moments of life, thinking, I have nothing left to lose. But he does this. I'm going to continue here real quick because there's a pattern that's being shown here. Go to verse 5 in chapter 8. It says, this is the Roman officer who demonstrates faith. When Jesus returned to Capernaum, a Roman officer came and pleaded to him, Lord, my young servant lies in bed, paralyzed and in terrible pain. Jesus said, I will come and heal him. Okay? But the officer said, Lord, I am not worthy to have you come into my home. Just say the word from where you are, and my servant will be healed. I know this because I am under the authority of my superior officers, and I have authority over my soldiers. I need only to say go, and they go, or come, and they come. And if I say to my slaves, do this, they do it. When Jesus heard this, he was amazed. Now we continue down this account of the faith of the centurion. He turns to us as the greater has no faith than this man in all of Israel, right? But look at the difference between the contrasting stories, right? In the very first one, 8 verses 1 through 3, we see Jesus reach out and touch somebody that is ceremonially unclean. Now you're talking about somebody, the culture says, I touch this, I could get this, and I could be totally sick, and I could end up in the same boat as him, right? And then the next account, immediately afterwards, Jesus speaks the word, and the man is healed. So Christ didn't need to touch the leper. He chose to do it. He chose to touch the leper and reach out and cross over those cultural stereotypes to push through what was going on, and to set the pace and set the standard. Like, he wants intimate relationship with us, and he seeks opportunity to bridge that gap. Okay, I'm going to say something to you. Don't miss this. The demonstration of your faith trumps pontification. Let's say it again. Demonstration trumps pontification. Okay, I can tell my wife that I love her, but when I demonstrate my love to her, it speaks more than my words do. And all Jesus was doing here was demonstrating his affection, his desire, and God's desire for relationship with this man. And it's amazing that we can do that. And I want to encourage you guys too. When you're living out your faith, okay, you're living out your faith every morning, you get in your word. I've seen the pictures at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m., sitting down, getting your word and your coffee. Make sure that your kids see that. Because the demonstration of your faith is going to mean infinitely more than what you tell them. People listen, but they watch us. They watch us before they take in what it is that we're actually saying. We need to train our sons, and we need to train our daughters in such a way that they have the same love and affection for how sovereign and how amazing God is. If we don't demonstrate to them that God is supremely valuable, not what he can give us, not heaven, not avoiding hell, because if you're a Jesus follower because you want to escape hell, then you're missing the point, okay? We're Jesus followers because we want the relationship with God. We want the relationship with Jesus. If there was no heaven, none whatsoever, and you knew Jesus was there. Sorry, let me rephrase that. So if there was a heaven and you knew Jesus wasn't there, okay, if you knew there was a heaven and Jesus wasn't there, he was someplace else, would you still want to go to heaven? Because if you still want to go to heaven, your heart is in the wrong place. Let your family see that Jesus Christ is infinitely more valuable, is more superior, more sovereign in the way you live your life, and let your words reinforce your actions, okay? Let your words reinforce what it is that you're displaying to them. Lead your sons, lead your daughters, lead your wife, lead them well. Demonstrate to them the love of God, and demonstrate your faith in such a way where in years to come, our sons will look at us and be like, Jesus was infinitely valuable to my father, and he is infinitely valuable to me. All right? So that's my encouragement for you guys today. Have a blessed day.